Hey, how's it going everyone? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. Today I kind of wanted to have a casual conversation with you guys on the state of Pokemon card collecting because I'm starting to get a couple of mixed signals right now. We are seeing some positive trends. Things are starting to be restocked a lot more often. Prices for a lot of modern sets are starting to drop down to MSRP. We got Battle Styles, Shining Fates, and a lot of other modern sets. I'm even seeing Darkness Ablaze start to drop in price because there is a reprint of Darkness Ablaze booster boxes on the horizon. But at the same time, I'm seeing so many pre-orders for Eevee Heroes that things are starting to really start to collapse right now. So many vendors have messaged me and saying that they're going to cancel pre-orders. I'm not getting a lot of booster boxes for Eevee Heroes. I was going to open up a couple booster boxes for the channel. We're going to start to see that it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge because unfortunately a lot of vendors are canceling pre-orders. This is the first time that's happened is what they're saying to me. There's just such an unprecedented number of pre-orders. And of course we got the Japan Post promos. People are absolutely wild for those things. I am super surprised that a video I did talking about them got like over 30,000 views. That's not a humble brag. I'm just using that as a metrics on how people are excited for what I consider are, you know, like they're really cool card, but kind of niche cards to be drawing that level of a crowd. So really interesting juxtaposition, and I wanted to discuss why a lot of modern products prices are starting to drop while a lot of niche products are really doing outrageously well right now. So why are modern Pokemon card prices starting to drop down to MSRP? I think that's completely natural. I think that was to be expected. We've been talking about how prices will eventually drop back to MSRP, and it's happening even faster than I expected. And I think that makes sense. The faster you have a boom, I think the faster you're gonna have a dip as well. It just goes up and down. And I use a lot of different metrics to look at how popular the hobby is, how much demand there is right now. And a popular one that I like to use is YouTube views, and this is a really good one for even you guys to use. So what you can do is just grab your favorite Pokemon YouTuber, someone that is pretty large, so you have a nice database, and you can just see the trend in views. So if you look at some people like, like Unlisted Leaf, Leonhard, you can see this massive spike in viewers all at the same time, and you can start to see it all decline at around the same time as well. And that's no fault to their content. That doesn't mean like their content has gotten any poorer, but that just shows the level of interest in the hobby, how quickly it went up and how quickly it went down. There's other metrics that you can use like Google searches, how popular Pokemon card searches are right now, stuff like that. But in general, all the trends are showcasing that the genuine interest in Pokemon card collecting is dwindling a little bit, and that is to no fault of the hobby at all. That's actually just part of what it's like to be in a fad. So, sometimes we're here for the long term, but there will be a lot of casual collectors as well. And that's what happened in 2020 is there was a lot of genuine curiosity, interest, and just nostalgia in Pokemon card collecting. So a lot of people jumped on Pokemon card collecting. They jumped on the ship. And in general, most people will enjoy the hobby for a couple months. Buy a couple of sealed products, open up a couple of packs, collect a few cards, look at some cool cards, think it's neat, and move on with their lives. That's no fault of Pokemon card collecting. That's normal with every single fad or hobby. People dip their toes into it, try it out, have some fun, enjoy themselves, and move on with their lives. Very few people will actually stick to the hobby. Some people will say, wow, I really enjoy this. This is a lot of fun and I'm gonna stick with it long term. And now we're starting to see that we're gonna have a lot more serious collectors. So I think that's what's gonna happen is over the course of the next 3 to 6 months, you're gonna see a lot of modern products start to really drop back down to MSRP as we unload a lot of casual collectors. But the ones that do stick around are going to be some serious collectors. These are the ones that are demanding PSA graded cards. They're demanding vintage products. They're gonna want all kinds of cool stuff. And that's why you're starting to see a bunch of like niche collectibles start to still be commanding like high demand right now. So things like like EV Heroes, which is you know, like a niche Japanese set, doing really hot right now. I'm seeing like vendors cancel so many pre-orders for EV Heroes. I had Japanese vendors who have never canceled an order for me for years and years cancel orders now. They're saying this is unprecedented. They're never seeing pre-orders of these levels. They can't even get their hands on these products. These are Japanese vendors who have a reputation for doing business with the Pokemon companies for years that are struggling to get enough products for their own stores right now. So yeah, really interesting juxtaposition. And of course we got the Japan Post promos, which I consider kind of niche collectibles. They are extremely cool and gorgeous cards, but you're talking about Japanese promos, and in general, while they do pretty well, I mean, like, it's a growing audience, but you're starting to see that a lot more serious collectors are grabbing onto these more desirable products. So that's why you're seeing things like Battle Styles and Shining Fates, things that are modern, and they're really designed for, you know, casual collectors. If you want to enjoy something quick in the hobby, I think those are great. And I think the people that are really serious are now trying to go for the next big thing. You know, you can't get the same level of excitement opening up like a Battle Styles booster pack right now when you compare to something as cool as EV Heroes. So I'm definitely seeing that where a lot of casual collectors are moving through the hobby, and those few ones that are sticking around, the serious collectors, are starting to drive up the prices for more niche collectibles, the more high-end stuff. So really interesting where you're starting to see like the more modern products still be pretty cheap, and then all of this vintage stuff and all of these serious collectors taking on the more expensive products. So what does this mean to you as a collector? Well, if you're a casual collector, I think you're doing fantastic right now. Products are going to continually be restocked on store shelves. I think booster box prices will go back down to $100. I know that's a big one. A lot of people think it's unrealistic to think that Pokemon booster boxes will ever go back down to $100. I think we're gonna go back to that point a lot faster than anyone expected. I know a lot of people are quoting that things will go back to complete norm by this time next year, and I think things are going to go back to the norm even faster than that. I think we got like maybe 6 to 9 months left of unpurchasable products. After that, pretty much everything will go back to store shelves, and they're going to go back to below MSRP, which is what was Pokemon cards at the time. You could buy most Pokemon card products for actually cheaper than what you found on, you know, Walmart shelves. They were actually way cheaper than that. So I'm excited for things to go back to that. And if you're a casual collector, have fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you just want to buy a couple of products and open up a couple booster packs, stick around in the hobby because things are gonna go back to the norm. However, things a little bit different for the serious collectors. If you're into vintage products, if you're into graded cards, if you're into rare promos, if you're into cool art, anything that's even a little bit niche, things are going to get a lot more competitive, because while we're shaking off like 99% of casual collectors who have already left the hobby, the ones that are sticking around are going to be really serious. And they're going to be kind of foaming at the mouth because most of them want a lot of cards. They want a lot of cards that they don't have in their collections. And a lot of these collectors have really deep pockets and they want to collect everything that they missed out on. That's why you're seeing prices on a lot of cool cards that are just a little bit older starting to really drive up prices. You know, your Scream promo, your Mario Pikachu products, even like your vintage Charizard, Skyridge cards, all those cards are still doing really well in terms of price because there aren't that many of them available, and the number of serious collectors have really increased. And I think they're going to continue to increase because the casual collectors can be converted to a serious collectors. And that's what we're going to see is while casual collectors are dwindling, the number of serious collectors I think are still climbing. So that's going to be really interesting to see. I don't know how I feel about competing with even more serious collectors. Things are so different nowadays. I remember a time when I was so stingy when it comes to buying Pokemon cards, where I adamantly refused to purchase a base set Charizard for more than $30. $30 was the tip of the mountain for me. I think anything above that was overpriced for a base set Charizard, and look at where we are now. So it's going to be a really interesting time where things are going to be interesting for the casual collectors, and things are going to be even more competitive for the serious collectors. So only time will tell how things will shake up, but that's the current state of the hobby. And I think things are still a lot of fun. If you stick with the hobby to this point, then kudos to you, because I think you've really weathered the storm. And I think there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's going to be really interesting to see what the Pokemon Company has in store for us, especially with the 25th anniversary still happening this year. We're still getting a 25th anniversary set, and I'm really hyped for it because it's been kept so secretive. I know so little about it. Most people know nothing about it. We know sort of some of the products that are going to be available, like, oh, we know there's going to be a 25th anniversary Elite Trainer box, but how useful is that? You already knew that was coming, so that's not that useful. We know nothing about it, like the pack art, any of the cards that's going to be inside, so it's going to be wild. I hope it's going to be something more interesting than just, you know, Eevee Heroes or something like that. Although Eevee Heroes is probably going to be on one of the upcoming English set, what is it, Evolving Skies, something like that. And I think that makes sense. If you haven't seen it, there's a bunch of really cool alternative evolution arts available now. They're really cool. All the evolutions seem to have their own alternative arts. I don't think they all have an alternative art B max, but they do all have an alternative art B. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of cool chase cards. Can't wait for it. That's pretty much all I had to talk about today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.